Let's take a quick look at the Punjab Kings ahead of this year's IPL. Now there's one person missing from this squad, and that's Lockie Ferguson, because he's injured and out for the whole tournament. But as of yet, Punjab haven't named a replacement, so we'll see who they pick up to fill that gap. But let's take a look at what their starting lineup might look like. Now I think a lot of this Punjab lineup kind of picks itself. We'll go from the top. We'll put in Priyansh Arya, we'll put in Prab Simran, and we'll put in the captain Shreyas at 3. I think this is a no-brainer top 3. Now there's some argument about Shreyas not wanting to come in the power play, and Josh Inglis was used very well at 3 to just keep the attacking momentum going through the power play if a wicket fell early, with Shreyas coming in more towards the middle overs. But there's a player later on that we might be able to use in that way as well. So at the moment, that's the top 3. I think Nehal Wadera in at 4. Really promising, underrated domestic batter actually, Wadera. Let's put Shashank in at 5. This whole middle order can be moved around, I think. You know, sometimes Shashank may be further down, depending on the situation, but that's fine. Now, this is where things get a bit tricky in this little portion here. So what I'm going to do is come back to it. I'm going to go right down to the bottom, put in another no-brainer. Yuzi comes in, so does Arshdeep. Now, you might have noticed, all of these players are Indian. There's no overseas players picked yet, and that shows the strength of the domestic core that Punjab have built in this squad. However, it does mean that their overseas options are a bit limited. There's one player that I wouldn't describe as limited, and I'm going to slide Marco Jansen in at 8. What a World Cup he had, and what a player he is, and is going to be. I'm going to use the last Indian spot in this lineup for someone that I think is very underrated, Harpreet Brar. Brilliant bowler, and handy with the bat as well. I remember reading in the practice game for the Punjab Kings, he smoked quite a few sixes in a little cameo innings. So I think Harpreet at 9 gives you some really good batting depth and some canny bowling to complement Chahal's more wicket-taking tendencies. But now we've got 3 spaces left, and they can all be overseas players. But if you look at the players that Punjab have bought in the auction, it's all a bit confusing. They're all a bit bits and pieces. They're all pretty much very Australian. And yeah, it doesn't fill me with confidence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide in Stoinis at 6. I think that makes sense. Stoinis is the most legitimate of these players. But you look at what's left. Mitch Owen, Cooper Connolly, Xavier Bartlett, Ben Dwarshuis. They don't scream IPL ready to me. So in at 10, we're going to need someone that's a proper bowler. So it's between Bartlett and Dwarshuis, and honestly, it's a kind of coin toss for me. I've gone for Xavier Bartlett. He played a few games for Punjab last year, so they're probably slightly more likely to pick him over Dwarshuis. But like I said, it's a coin toss. This last spot, number 7, that's also a bit of a coin toss to me. I don't think Cooper Connolly should be in this side, although I have heard rumblings that he's going to come in at 3 in the game that's coming up later today. But I think this spot should be either Mitch Owen or Omar Zai. Azmatullah obviously gives you the bowling. Do we need it in this lineup? Maybe not. Maybe Azmatullah is more there as a backup to Marcus Stoinis. Also, I think Azmatullah works a bit better higher up the order. I mean, you could do that. You could have Azmatullah at 5 and Shashank and Stoinis at 6 and 7. But actually, I'm going to put in Mitch Owen. He's a bit of a potential pick, I think. You know, we've seen in some other leagues that he's got the power to hit sixes throughout the innings. So I think him coming in at 7, bit of a free floating role. Of course, if a wicket falls early, you could throw him up at number 3 to prolong Shreyas' entry point more towards the middle overs. But anyway, what do you think of this Punjab lineup? Do you think their strange obsession with bits and pieces all-rounders and anyone they can find that's Australian is going to pay off? Or is the quality of their domestic core going to carry them through this tournament? Let me know in the comments down below. What changes do you make to this lineup? And also, is Lockie Ferguson's injury a big loss for them? I think it is. Anyway, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, because we'll be here throughout the IPL for lots of, well, all sorts of things. I'll see you later.